Welcome back to my YouTube channel Chatters. I am BL Rakshit and have cleared both groups of my CA intermediate in my first attempt in November 2022. I'm here with this video to guide you guys on how to prepare for paper 7, that is eissm. For people who are new to my channel, please do subscribe and like my videos. And without wasting much of your time, let's start with enterprise information system. Now, coming to your syllabus, you have 5 chapters in all, out of which the third chapter is very vast, that is information system and its components. Before I start off, I request you all to remove this one thought from your mind that EIS is hard to study. Remove this thought and you'll see the difference while you're preparing for the exams. And even if you haven't started studying eissm, it's completely fine. You still have 2.5 months in your hand and you can do it. You have sufficient time, and your mindset towards any subject depends on how you start off. So coming to EIS, start with chapter number 2, which is financial and accounting systems. So this chapter is easy and comparatively interesting. Obviously EIS as a subject is not interesting, but this chapter is comparatively interesting and it's easy to understand and remember. You need not put more efforts to remember the concept of this chapter. Once you're done with chapter number 2, we move on to chapter number 4, which is e-commerce. You can relate, there are many concepts in this chapter you can relate to in real life, so it will be easy for you to go on. Once you're done with chapter number 4, we go with chapter number 1 and then 5. Coming to chapter number 5, from chapter number 5 there is a 6 marker is for sure. Like this is as per what I have seen in majority of the past year papers. A 6 marker question is usually appears from chapter number 6, that is core banking systems. Now we are left with chapter number 3. This chapter number 3, you studying this chapter depends where you stand currently, that is at what stage your preparation is. So if you have sufficient amount of time and you're already revising, if you already completed group 1 completely and you've started with group 2, you can obviously go for it and study the third chapter as well. Now you can skip for people who are running out of time, I would it's my suggestion, if you're planning to skip any chapter, skip chapter number 3. I'm telling this from a student point of view and from my own experience. Even I skipped it for my exams. It's very vast and you'll just end up wasting time understanding the concepts, and it's difficult to understand because it's more of technical. This chapter has majority of technical concepts which we won't understand. It's hard to understand. You'll have to put more efforts. Instead you can study some other subject and invest the same time in some other subject, right? So, and I'll make this clear, if you're even if you skip the third chapter, with 4 chapters you can easily answer up to 80% of the paper and it wouldn't be a problem at all. And if you're aiming for a rank, you wouldn't want to skip any chapter. Okay, EIS is a subject which you can't take up and study at a stretch. You'll have to deal with it consistently. So don't take up EIS and start studying like the only subject as EIS and start studying. You'll just end up wasting time. So divide each chapter into number of topics, number of questions or number of pages and then study. Assign yourself, like I have to do 5 questions today or 5 pages today or 2-3 topics a day. So assign like this, and with 2 months, like consistently on a daily basis, if you do this, you'll be easily able to cover the whole syllabus. Now coming to the important part, while I was preparing for my exams in November 2022, I just went through few past year question papers. What I noticed was some questions from the practical questions of the practical question area of ICA module have been exactly printed in the question paper, and this may or may not happen in your attempt. So I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it has happened. You can check it for yourself by referring the past year question papers and the practical questions in your module. Especially in chapter 1, 2 and 5, as of what I saw, chapter 1, 2 and 5, these questions are very repetitive from the practical questions area. So and also, if you're planning to skip any other chapter along with chapter 3, or don't just come, even if you're skipping chapter 3, don't just leave it off completely. Go through important topics. At least if there are a few important topics in every other chapter, you'll find it on YouTube with many other videos. So go through them, go through practical questions and RTPs. Now that will help you a lot with EIS, especially RTPs. And that's it about enterprise information system. Talking about strategic management, I don't have much to tell in strategic management. You cannot afford to skip any chapter. There are 8 chapters and you'll have to be thorough with all the 8. And in clearing paper 7, SM plays a major role. Trust me, you can ask any of your seniors who are cleared CA intermediate. SM will help you cross 40 in paper 7. Now what you need to understand in strategic management is there'll be 7 questions of 5 marks each. So you'll have to write 6 to 7 points max for any answer, right? Now first keep this in mind. And these I told you 7 points because it depends on what you have written in the beginning points of the answer, like what the content you have written there. If you're 100% sure that the content you have written is absolutely right, then you can stick with, then 6 points will suffice. Or if you're not, if you just remember the answer in bits and pieces, you should go for writing extra points, that will be helpful. And having told this, now while preparing for strategic management, in many topics there might be more than 7, there may be more than 10 points actually in the textbook, in the module whichever you're referring. There'll be 10 to 12 points. Now you have to study smartly with the time given. In inter, time is the main constraint. So don't blindly study all of them. It's not going to help. You're just wasting time. So be thorough with 6 points. Like you should be thorough with them completely. And go through 3 to 4 points. Like don't lay too much importance on them. Just read them. Now these 3 to 4 points will help you just in case you forget the main 6 points. You guys might be wondering how to prepare on the day before exam. You'll have 1.5 days time. If you just blindly think that you'll manage the day before exam, it is not going to work. Trust me. I'll tell you why. By the time you reach paper number 7, you'll be completely exhausted. You'll have written already 6 papers. That is already almost 6 papers, 12 days, and also 1 week before the exam. So continuous logging for 2.5 weeks. So it's going to be difficult. So that is why you'll have to conduct a few trial runs. While you're revising, try to complete your syllabus in 1.5 days, and try this complete your syllabus in 1.5 days and write a test. So then you'll know how to prepare the day before the exam, like how much time to allot for EIS and how much for SM. So this is your strategy and how you prepare the day before exam. And also while presenting your answers, make sure you're writing it in points. And in strategic management, make sure if there was any diagram in the module, you draw the diagram next to the answer, and then you write down the points. And while presenting your answer in points, the point which you're most confident that this is for sure it's right, you remember it completely, make sure that's your first point, and then go on. And that's it about it. And hope this video helps you all, and make sure you like the video and subscribe my channel. And do let me know what content you require in the upcoming videos in the comments. Thanks for watching.